Hello, Wisecrack Nation and YouTube community. This is your boy Navi here, stepping at you out of the Speed Force with a new episode of The Flash. So far, we're on Season 5, Episode 20, titled Gone Rogue. It seems our dim-witted young superhero female named Excess has gone to the bad side and become a rogue. So you have to wonder, what is that gonna mean for Barry and Team Flash this episode? Well, we'll find out. Let's get into it with the new episode of The Flash. I guess we're gonna start off this episode with Excess doing a little bit of breaking, entering, and armed robbery. The most fascinating thing is, her lightning has gone from purple and yellow to purple and red. So the negative force, or the negative speed force, has corrupted her monumentally. But the thing that gets me is why she's committing petty burglary, of all things. I know I say she sucked as a superhero, but she makes an even worse villain. You see Barry running throughout the city, setting up seismic monitors and speed emitters trying to find Nora, at which point he returns to Star Labs and informs everyone of his progress, so that they not only can have eyes on the ground, but in space as well, as they set up their satellites in order to find Nora. I find it kind of disappointing that Team Flash is putting so much effort into finding her, when it's Barry's fault for putting her in this situation in the first place. Like father, like daughter. And now at the site of where Nora broke into at the beginning of the episode, Barry, Joe, Iris, and Cisco are doing CSI work and come across the fact that there are negative tachyons present, meaning one thing, the negative speed force, in which they realize Nora was the one that used the lightning bolt in order to steal information. I'm glad Team Flash is finally playing catch up and realizing that Nora isn't so good and fragile anymore. At this point, if I'm Barry or Iris, I'd take off a belt and go find Nora and beat her high yellow. Let me stop right there. I don't want to get off track and curse. Now we get to meeting the new version of the young rogues. Bug-Eyed Bandit, Weather Witch, and Ragdoll. I guess Excess really has gone to the dark side as she pulls out a new look. I can't help but feel sorry for her because she has daddy issues. It's always the girl with daddy issues that always seem to have some kind of problem. Well, surprise, surprise. It seems that Nora teaming up with the young rogues has actually increased her intelligence and made her more plan-worthy, as she has a plan to not only steal military technology, but rob the Flash as well? I guess Nora going to the dark side has done something that I never would have expected. It turned her smarter. Well, it seems that Cecile and Iris are going over information that Nora could have possibly taken during her breaking and entering job and trying to figure out what she's after. And the one thing that's problematic to Iris the most is that ever since Nora's been back in 2019, is that she didn't come to the rest of the team and tell them that she needed help. You gotta feel bad for the fact that Iris wants to save her daughter just as much as Barry does. Well, it seems that Barry, Sherlock, and Cisco are putting their efforts into finding Nora. Well, they wanted her, now they have her, After realizing she set off an alarm in Starlab's archives in which she's trying to steal Spinzone's metaphone. But what makes things more interesting is the fact that Ragdoll is in the building and set off an alarm in the sewage system in which he's kidnapped both Sherlock and Cisco. So you're telling me a crap-smelling Ragdoll has kidnapped both a master detective and a teleporting superhero? There's something wrong with that. But what issues that are bigger than that is the fact that Nora and her daddy issues rage out of control and showing that she's still mad at Barry for leaving her alone in the future once again, as she zaps him with a lightning bolt and speeds off. And unfortunately for Barry, he sees her eyes light up like reverse flashes and notices that she may be turning into him. Well, at this point, Barry's met up with Iris and Cecile and informed them that Nora broke into the Starchives and that her lightning has changed color from purple and yellow to purple and red, and her eyes are glowing red, meaning she's under the influence of Thawne right now. I hate to say this, but Barry put himself in this predicament and everyone else by being stubborn and stupid, just like Nora. And now we get down to business as we see why Cisco was kidnapped in the first place. It seems that once unmasked by the young rogues, that Sherlock wasn't supposed to be kidnapped as well, and that Nora wants Cisco to reprogram Spinzone's hypnotic telephone. And when Cisco rejects the command, Nora tries to pull a reverse flash and threaten him by putting her hand through his heart. It seems she's becoming more and more just like the reverse flash than anything. And if I was Cisco, the moment that those meta dampeners come off of me, I'd zap all of them into space. And now we get to the fact-checking point of Barry, Iris, Joe, and Cecile as they try to figure out what Nora is doing. But for some reason, Barry is still not convinced and thinks that Nora needs to be brought in because of the fact that she's still turning into a Thawne wannabe. The one thing I do realize is that Barry doesn't have all the information that he needs, and he's still acting like he did in the previous episode. It seems that him being a parent is more harder on him than it is on anybody else. That his grudge and hostility with Thawne is what's driving his family away and making his marriage worse. Well, it seems that the new rogues are all emotionally broken children that share their feelings at one point because either their parents hurt them or their mentors did. And that's what drove them to their life of villainy. Oh, boo-hoo-hoo, cry me a river. It's at this point that Cisco finishes with Spinzone's phone, but unfortunately they fall under the hypnotism of it while encircled around by bees. And if they try to escape, they get stung to death. Let's just hope Cisco can get rid of that meta dampener so he can get him and Sherlock out of there. Well, it seems the guru of Teeny Flash, aka Joseph West, has gone to Barry and given him some fatherly advice on how to patch things up with Nora and make it right. I wish he had done that earlier, because Barry is more than likely not fit for the job by himself. Joe had to remind Barry of the ups and downs that he went through with him as a child, and reminds Barry that it's not going to be easy being a parent. I wish Joe would have taught Barry this back in October, because right now With all this, we could have skipped it. Luckily, the hypnotic suggestion of Spin Zone's phones and B-Girl's drones wears off of both Cisco and Sherlock to where they can break out of their zip ties around their wrist, and at which point Cisco regains his powers and sends the bees through a breach so they can escape unharmed. And the good part about it being that Sherlock has realized that Nora is in trouble. Well, it seems that the young rogues have tricked their way into the military facility and knocked out all the guards, at which point Ragdoll has snuck into a secret room and unlocked the door to the forge where they house all their military firepower. But unfortunately for Access, since there's a metahuman dampener inside the room, she has no powers to defend herself from B-Girl and Weather Witch. Well, I guess I was wrong. Nora's still as stupid as can be. Well, it seems that the young rogues want to make a name for themselves, not only by killing the Flash, but unmasking him and exposing it to everyone around the world. But unfortunately, they wind up with something a little more special. When the Flash shows up, he seems a little bit off. Come to find out that it's a Flash hologram of Sherlock pretending to be him while at Star Labs. It's by this point that there's now superhero versus supervillain showdown, Team Flash versus the Young Rogues. After freeing the hostages, Iris and Joe face off against a Ragdoll, in which Joe is so surprised because he's never seen Ragdoll in the first place. I kinda felt uneasy that Joe was unable and not ready to fight Ragdoll, but it put a smile on my face after seeing Iris come out of nowhere and put a 1-2 combo to him and knock him out. I mean, she turned his head around like it was an Exorcist movie. Well, it seems that Barry and Nora are in for quite a fight, as bug-eyed bandit bees are blocking the meta dampener, so that the Flash and Access can't destroy it. But luckily, Cisco has hacked the cell phone of Spin Zone and the bee drones in order to stop their commands. Because as soon as Barry got hit by lightning from Weather Witch's wand, he got resurged with power due to the destruction of the meta dampener. At which point we see both Barry and Nora enter Flash time, and we see Nora's true colors return to purple and yellow instead of purple and red. Well, it seems that everything is back to normal with Nora, and we find out that she isn't planning on killing Cicada, but destroying his dagger, because the weapon that she was looking for from the military base could destroy weapons down to their atomic base. And even though Barry doesn't like the fact that Thawne came up with the plan, he still decides to go along with it because Nora risked so much to go through all of this by herself and has come back to her family. Boy, the West Allens are something else. I thought my family was bad. Looking at these people, they're gonna need many, many, many years of therapy. Well, after going over Nora's information about the mirror gun that she's procured and the information that Caitlin and Ralph have gathered while in the Arctic, it seems that Team Flash has finally figured out Gracie's plan on how to deal with all the metahumans in Central City. She's gonna use Cisco's failed versions of the metahuman cure in order to spread it and kill all the metahumans. Well, it looks like all the Team Flash in Central City are doomed. Oh well, like I said before, Team Flash is smart, but they're not always on top of everything how they should be. And now we see Gracie in the woods once again, and for some reason she's repeating an old limerick, at which point she sees her Uncle Orland, who she's killed already. So I'm questioning, how crazy is this chick? Well, Wisecrack Nation, it's about that time that I get out of here. The Speed Force is calling to me, and I feel like I need to take a rest. But for right now, what you all can do is drop a like, comment, share, and subscribe to the Wisecrack Nation YouTube channel, or go ahead and check out my friends at the 450 Legion Gaming. But as for right now, I'm gonna go ahead and go get my rest on. What you people can do for me is one thing I always want you to do on a daily basis. Be wise, crack hard, and I'll see you next time, people. Peace.